Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Or evening and morning, depends on where you're geographically located. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and maybe get started here. And just a couple of things around the meeting here today and some of the um, etiquette here of the business of the meeting. If you have a question, feel free to type it in the meeting in the question note taker area and the message area. I'm sorry, the message area, and we can respond as well. Also, feel free to interrupt if you want to. You can raise your hand and ask a question. We'll have some time for questions throughout the session as well. Because this is kind of a working session and with the goal of getting some results here today and helping everyone gain some understanding of the business. So, with that here, let me share my screen. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, I can.
There it is. All right, good deal. So I just want to welcome everyone here for taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us here today and learn a little bit how we can maybe use AI and coding to build some really neat apps and look at how we can use this in our business. And so we'll be spending some time here doing that. And so as we think about that agenda here we have today, we're going to introduce ourselves here in just a moment. We're going to talk about what is coding and specifically vibe coding with the use of AI tools and what are some sample problems we'll try to solve, and we'll actually create an app together today. So we really will. When we get done, we will have a functional app, and then we'll do some review and next steps of how we can use that to move forward with in your farms. So I am Harold Birch. I'm the Executive Vice President and co-founder of Uncommon Farms, and I'll be the host here today. And we'll be talking about how we can get these values out of little apps that you can build or big apps that you can attach to a platform to better run your business. And with us today, we have Danish Raza. And Danish is with the Folio 3 team that is our partner in technology. So Danish, why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Harold. So my name is Danish. I work as a senior product manager as well as practice director for Folio 3. I have been in the agriculture space for almost 8 years now, and I've worked closely with some cattle ranches, feedlots, meat processors and packers, crop processors and packers as well. And today I'll be talking about how anyone can use AI to build a fully functioning application within a few minutes.
Well, thank you, Danish. So as we think about vibe coding and this new approach, I'm going to have Danish kind of give us a little more detail here, but it's really simple as what it is. If from a simplistic term, it's using AI to help you build apps. Now, as we get into how that happens and how that works, I'll have Danish explain that. But it does give us more speed in tool development. It helps empower the user to build these without having to have an in-depth IT department. And it will automate things for us in our business and help build integrity in that. So as we think about this vibe coding, Danish, why don't you give us a little more detail about how this benefits the farm?
Yeah, sure. So if I talk about agriculture, you could be a business owner, a farm manager, an inventory manager, a supervisor. You know your problem better than anyone else, better than tech guys. So you can literally, create an application within a few minutes using vibe coding. And one idea, one person, can literally take an application idea from a concept to a finished application within a few, minutes. The top two benefits I would say is speed and cost. When I say speed, I mean within 10-15 minutes you have a fully functioning app ready. And when I say cost, the cost is less than a few $100s, if not less.
So we're going to be using some tools to help do that. Walk us through these tools today, Danish.
Yes, so there are many tools out there that you can use to create an application, and all these tools they work like ChatGPT. So with ChatGPT, what you do is you ask a question, and within within a few seconds you get a response. So with tools like this, base 44 replicate lovable, you give your requirement or you define your problem, and within a few minutes you have an application ready for you. So today we will be using base 44 as the tool. However, there are different tools out there like Replit, Lovable, Claude, Cursor, Bolt, and many more. I would say the top three ones are Base 44, Replit, and Lovable because they are very easy to use and anyone can use them to create an application. So with these tools, what you do is you define your problem, and these tools would convert natural language into user interface and logic. They would use the best-in-class LLM models and create an application. And with Base 44, there are multiple pricing packages. The first package, the starting package, is for free, so you can start using it. And if you want to have more capabilities, more capacity, you can always move to the paid version.
Great. So today's mission is to build an AI-powered inventory management application for row crops. And so with that, then, how are we going to do that? And what are some of the issues, Danish, that we're going to deal with?
Yeah, so in inventory management, there are multiple issues that farmers face. This is what I've experienced in the last 8 years. So there is always this lack of traceability. So business owners, they are concerned about where the grain came from, which field, which truck driver was involved, what was the weight of the ticket, so stuff like that. And then a lot of processes right now, even this time and age, they're paper based, and paper based work slows everything down because you can't run reports, you can't see data in a digital format, and then it's hard to see what's happening in the business. So you don't have real time view of what's in the inventory, when the load is going to come, if bin has enough space, to have more grain. So these are the challenges that we have seen in the past, and we are going to try solve some of these today in the demo.
So we're going to solve these issues. We're going to add traceability. We're going to try to replace paper and have everything real time. Is that correct?
Exactly.
All right. So with that, then, our goal here is to create an application, if I understand correctly, that's going to monitor our grain across all bins, all locations. And we're going to be able to also, if there is scanned paper tickets, we could scan those paper tickets and input that directly in the system without data entry, and have simplify the process of moving grain, delivering it, bringing that in from the field. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to share for you, Danish, where you can actually show us how we're going to do that.
Yeah, sure. So let me share my screen now. Give me a minute. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So as I mentioned, today we'll be using Base 44 as the tool to build this inventory management application. So like I said, Base 44 is just like ChatGPT. There's a white box in the middle. You describe what you want, you describe your requirements or your problems, and Base 44 will literally start building your application, and it will be ready within a few minutes. But before I start, let me talk about a problem that most users make, or the mistake that most users make. So what they do is they write a prompt which is very high level, which is very basic. So if your prompt is not detailed, the outcome will not be good. So if you want a really solid outcome, an application that would really meet your requirements, you have to have a detailed requirement. So what I do is I first go to ChatGPT, I define my problems over there, and I ask ChatGPT to create a detailed requirement document for me. And then I just copy and paste those requirements or those prompts, paste them over here, and then I start building the application. So let me go to ChatGPT now and work on the requirements. So I'm
And
going to ask.
Danish,
Yeah,
you might want to hide your little pop-up there that you have, if you would, please. Thank
yeah,
you.
sure. So let me share my requirements with ChatGPT. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT to act as a software developer and give me a prompt for Base 44. So I'm going to write act as an expert software developer and create a super prompt for Base 44 that will build the following. So I use this line for every application that I have to develop. And if you notice, I have given it the platform name. So today I'm going to use Base 44. It's important to specify which platform you are using, whether it's Base 44, whether it is Lovable or Replit, because ChatGPT knows the capabilities and limitations of all these platforms. So when ChatGPT gives me requirements, is going to consider all those limitations, and capabilities in mind. So yeah, so this is the first line that everyone should start with. Now I'm going to add more details based on the problems that we discussed regarding inventory management. So I'm going to press Shift and Enter to go to the next line. So my first requirement is that I want an inventory management application. So I'm going to add details over here. An inventory management application for row crop farmers. So I'm specifying row crop farmers because there could be, different types of inventory management application. There could be chemical inventory. There could be inventory for, auto parts in your, workshop. So the use cases could be different. So whatever you need, you have to define, and clarify your requirements. This one is for row crop farmers, and I want to specify that here grain inventory can be managed across multiple locations with multiple bins. And I'm going to add more details because I want my outcome to be really solid. So I'm going to write that there should be an option to scan paper-based tickets. And I'm going to attach a sample ticket for ChatGPT so it knows what I'm talking about. So I'm going to click on this plus icon over here, select add photos and files, and I have a paper-based ticket, which for example I use in my operation. So I have now attached this ticket as well. Please see the ticket attached. So with this line, ChatGPT, would consider that I want, the details in this ticket to be digitized. And I'll add when grain is received, inventory should be updated automatically. So I won't stop here. I will add more details over here. So let me press Shift Enter again and write. Users should be able to make bin to bin transfers, make adjustments due to, let's say, negative shrink or positive shrink or other reasons. And then we also discussed that users should be able to track grain movement from storage to customers. So I'll add that as well. Users should be able to transfer grain from bins to customer locations, and customers can have multiple locations. So I'm going to stop right here. I have given my requirements to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is going to convert my requirements to a super prompt or a detailed requirement document that will be used by base 44. So I'm going to hit enter now, and within a few seconds or maybe a minute, I will have a detailed requirement document. So as you can see, ChatGPT is thinking, and it will now start working on my super prompt or detailed requirement, and I will just copy paste it on base 44, and base 44 will start building it. So as you can see, I gave 4 to 5 lines to ChatGPT, and now it's creating a detailed document. So it's working on the tech stack, on core concepts, on data model. So if I talk about data model, it's talking about users, different grain types, locations, bins, fields, trucks, drivers. So it's amazing, how much details ChatGPT is adding based on just 4 or 5 lines that I gave.
Danish, how does GPT know to do that?
I mean, it uses large language models. It has been, it captures data from, publicly available information, databases and stuff. So it knows, how an application for inventory management should look like. And based on that, it's giving me all the details. So we spoke about the scanning feature. It's adding details for that as well. Yes, so within a few seconds, my prompt is ready. What I'll do is I'll just copy paste it. I can just copy paste it like this, or I can click on this icon over here to copy the whole prompt. So let me just copy it here. I'm going to base 44, and I'm going to paste it over here. So as you can see, the detailed prompt is available over here. And if I press enter, Base44 will start building my application. Before I do that, let me just talk about this plus icon over here. So what I can also do is I can attach images of some other applications that I like. So for example, I like the design or interface of an application that I currently use. It can be, let's say, an HR payroll application. It can be an ERP application. It can be, any other application. If I want to add those designs, I can do that. If not, Base44, will, work on its own design. So right now, I'm not going to do it because I've seen an experience that Base44 and tools like, Rapid and Lovable, their designs are pretty good. So now I'm going to click on this button over here. And as you can see, Base44 will start, developing the application. So right now it's 11:20 a.m. in Pacific time zone. So you will see within 10 to 11 minutes, we'll have a fully functioning application ready. As you can see on the left side, Base44 is already planning the application. The plan is to work on different entities, including grain type, location, bin, field, truck, so on and so forth. It's going to create different pages or screens. There are different components that it will use to make sure the application is optimized and user friendly and with high speed. So yeah, that's what it's doing, and now it's developing the application.
So you put together, a few questions, Danish, there that built a very large prompt. What if I just want to build, I don't know everything I want to build, and I just want to start building things, and I just want to build part of it at once. Can I do like small prompts and start putting them together and integrate those and build it as I go, as I think of things? What's kind of the best way to do that?
Yeah, so you can work with small prompts as well. That's also possible. However, I would highly recommend that when you are starting an application from scratch, you start with a super prompt. So just like I described, you go to ChatGPT, just define your problem in 4 to 5 lines, and then ChatGPT, would give you detailed requirements. It's going to tell you what you want and need. And then, like I always mention that, all these AI tools, they always make mistakes. So here it's written, ChatGPT can make mistakes, check important info. So what I do is I would always check important information. Sometimes ChatGPT would add details that I don't need. Sometimes ChatGPT would miss details that I need. So you have to, spend, 5-10 minutes just to go through the prompt over here, make additions, but always start with this, with a super prompt. Once you have given, detailed requirement to, Base44, then you can make small increments, small iterations to make the application, meet your requirement.
Yeah, so it's best to have thought through what it is you're trying to solve before you come to build a tool then, correct? What problems you're trying to solve, what results you're looking for, and how you want to use that product.
Exactly. So if you are starting from scratch, I would say start with detailed requirements like I described. So last year, when I used this tool for the first time, honestly, I was disappointed with the outcome. And then I realized later that it wasn't the platform problem, it was my problem. My requirements were not detailed enough. So, as I, learned some tips and tricks, I started giving, detailed requirements to tools like this. And now when they give the outcome, I am kind of amazed by it. And you will see yourself, in a few minutes, the kind of detail that these tools, add.
Yeah, so don't try to let the tool assume things. Make sure you give it enough detail that it can go out and think for you and help provide that information.
Yes. So an application like this would take 2 to 4 months to develop with actual software engineers and managers and product managers and quality assurance people. But with tools like this, you can have an application within a few minutes or hours. But you have to give details to the platform. Otherwise, it will assume things and the outcome will not meet your requirements.
Okay. All right. Now, I noticed you use ChatGPT, and in ChatGPT is, there's a public version, a private version, those type of things. As I kind of start to build out my thoughts and my intellectual property, because this is building intellectual property, how do I protect that intellectual property, and what should I do and not do in the ChatGPT world?
I would say if you are using ChatGPT, it's pretty secure. Your prompts are your prompts. What I do is whenever I use my prompts, I create a login. So I have a user account. So that way, ChatGPT remembers me, and every time I'm working, on a new idea or a similar idea, ChatGPT, has memorized my, my needs, my requirements, my personality, and it gives me answers accordingly. But my data is my data. It's not available, for public. My prompts are my prompts, and it's the
Right.
same with Base 44. Your prompts are your prompts, and they're not, shared with public.
But if you're using the kind of not paid for version, the public version, then anything you put out there is public domain, correct?
Yes, so ChatGPT, it uses your information to train itself. But even then, your prompts, the if you're working on something,
Yeah.
there is no way other people can have access to it.
Yeah. So your prompts are still safe, but if you
Yes,
upload like a document or a spreadsheet or something like that, then that information is available, but not the prompts.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's
So
go
we
through
do
this.
have to be careful. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so
Go
let's
through
go
that.
through this prompt
Mhm.
just to show what ChatGPT has done for me. So we spoke about the core concept, which is an inventory application, and ChatGPT worked on this data model, which is users, grain types, locations, and so on and so forth. If I go further down, you can see inventory ledger because we want complete traceability. Then there is transfers, adjustments. We describe that. And there is an audit log for entity for different actions that users may take. ChatGPT has added, some business rules itself. So a business analyst or a product manager would take days and weeks to prepare something, like this. But with ChatGPT and with AI, all of it has come down to, a few seconds. Ticket scanning, then it's defining the pages that that an application should have, the screen that it should have. So there should be a login page, there should be a dashboard. I did not clarify all of this in my on my requirements, but ChatGPT is adding all these requirements. That there should be a dashboard, there should be different screens for locations and bins, for example, and there should be different buttons on different screens.
And it does that because it knows what good software applications have, correct? So it's based on what it's learned out there from whatever texts and information's out there around programming and best practices. It's bringing that here to the application, correct?
Exactly. Our use case is inventory management for row crop farmers. So it gave us the requirements accordingly. If I wanted inventory management for, let's say, chemicals, it would add screens accordingly. If I wanted an application for a meat processing or packing plant, it would, do it accordingly. If I wanted a cattle management application, it would change the requirements, accordingly.
Yeah. So as we start to build these type of tools, this first iteration here is going to be a prototype that is a functional working prototype. Um, how should I use that software, or how should I start to work with it? And can I just give it to anybody I want? Is it fully tested? Kind of walk us through that.
Yes, so I would say it's a fully functional application that you can start using right away. So if you see on the top right, there is this publish button over here. So if you publish the application, there are two ways to do it. It can be a web application. So you can use a website link to access the application, or you can publish it on Apple Store or Play Store for iPhone or Android. So once the applications are published, users can start using it right away. It's very easy. So as you can see, I clicked on this publish
Yep.
button. So there is this web option. You can edit the URL, and whatever URL is there, users will have to use it. If you want mobile applications, you'll have to submit your application to App Store or Play Store.
Yeah, so you can create like a desktop version, like a window version, and a phone version, mobile version, all at the same time.
Exactly, and that too within a few minutes. So it's not a prototype. I would say it's a fully functional production ready application that you can start using right away.
Right. But it hasn't been tested though yet and hardened, right?
Yeah, that's a good question. So sometimes I've experienced that there are some bugs and glitches in the application. So what you can do is you can ask Base 44 to act as the software quality assurance engineer and test the application, find the bugs, and then fix them as well. So it would act as a software engineer to fix the bugs, and it would act as a quality assurance engineer to find the bugs. It would serve both purposes.
So I can build it and test it for you.
Yes. So as you can see on the right, that the application is ready. The time was 11:20 a.m. Pacific, and now it's 11:30 a.m. So in 10 minutes, the application is ready. So literally 10 minutes. It will not take more time. So yeah, so one thing that I would like to mention over here is that ChatGPT, it also asks to add some seed data in the platform. So you will see grain types like corn and soybean and wheat already added. Locations will be added automatically. Some bins are already added. So you delete all these information if you want, or you can just use this seed data or sample data to test the application yourself.
They're really celebrating there for you, Danish.
So yeah, so let's start using the application. So this is the dashboard. As you can see, there is no inventory at the moment, uh, but you can scan scale tickets and add inventory. But there are locations. There are two locations. There are four bins right now. There are no transactions. So this is how the dashboard would look like once you start using the application. If I click on the hamburger menu or the main navigation on the top left, so these are the features. So I have locations and bins, I have tickets, transfers, adjustments, customers, report settings. So Helen, you asked about small changes and small iterations, right?
Yeah.
So let's say I want to change the name of this dashboard to home. So there are two ways to do it. I can either take a screenshot of this section, I can paste it over here. Let me just do it right now. I'm taking a screenshot and I'm pasting it over here. And I'll ask page 44 to change dashboard to home. Change dashboard to home. And let's see what it does. So if you don't like the alignment, if you don't like the colors, if you don't like the headings, you can simply take a screenshot and paste it over here, and base 44 will do it for you. So it's as simple as ChatGPT. The other way to do the same thing is to click on the edit button over here. It's kind of visual edit, and you can select any area. So as you can see, so it changed dashboard to home. So if I want to click over here and visually edit this one, I can also do this. So now I have visual edit enabled. I can go to any area on the app. I can go to home. I can go to this description. I can go to this heading, and I can change anything I want. So edit element, I can change it back to dashboard.
Could even give you some suggestions of things to do.
Oh yes, so it's very smart like that. Once you are done with your development, it will give you suggestions to further enhance your application or add more features. So that's really good. It gives you ideas. If you want to work on your own ideas, you can do that. But if you want the tool to suggest ideas to you, that's also possible. So if you look at suggestions here, so add bin capacity tracking is one suggestion. Implement advanced search is one suggestion. Add grain type details is another suggestion. So it's looking at all the features that are already in the application and giving you suggestions accordingly. So if I click over here, so it's writing a prompt for me. Add functionality to track the maximum capacity for each bin in location and bins. So you can either work on these suggestions or come up with your own. If you want to work on something minor, something small, these small details are okay. But let's say if you want to add a very major module, a big module in this platform. Let's say you want complete harvest management and harvest management tracking. Then for that, I would say go back to ChatGPT, define your problem, create a super prompt or a detailed requirement document, and then paste those requirements over here again, so that you have a really solid and complete end-to-end feature for you.
Good, good.
So let's test some test some more features. So I'm going to go over here and look at locations and bins. So I have these two locations, home, farm, and west side. I can add a third location if I want. If I go to a location, I can see that this location, home farm, has two bins. Right now there is no inventory because I did not add any, but I can if I want to, and I can add bins too. So here I can add the bin name, the location it's associated with, the grain type, which could be corn, soybean, wheat. I can add more, capacity and status. So this is, very, if I go to tickets, so as you can see, there are two options. You can add a manual ticket, uh, you can enter data yourself, or you can scan a ticket. So we spoke about, scanning tickets, and we gave that requirement to ChatGPT as well. So let me just try to test it. So let me click over here, scan ticket. I have two options to take a photo or upload a file. So right now I have the file ready, the ticket ready. I'm gonna upload the file over here and scan this ticket. Let's see if it works. Looks like it is working. If I zoom in a bit, as you can see, the ticket has date, time, field, truck, driver information. It also has gross weight, dairy weight, net weight. And moisture percentage is 15.4%, and remarks are good yield.
Wait a minute, how does it know that's moisture and remarks? These thumbs over that, it's covering up part of the word. How in the world does it know what that word is?
Yeah, so that's what these LLMs do. They are smart like that. They can pick typos very easily. So in this case, M is hidden, but it knows the context. It knows that we're talking about grain ticket, and in grain ticket, the word must be moisture. So let's look at the date and time. So date is captured correctly. Time is pretty accurate, 3:45. The field is South 80. Truck is Ford F350, and even the gross weight, dairy weight, net weight, moisture, everything's accurate. So I can just select the location and bin within a location, and enter the receipt, the postal receipt. Now this ticket, it still looks like it's computer generated. So I also have a handwritten ticket. I prepared that for this demo. Give me a minute. Let me just see that. So I'm going to scan it again. This is my handwriting, and let's see if it can understand my writing. It's not bad. Okay, so this is my writing. It's a handwritten ticket, so you can see the details over here. Date is the same, time is the same. Now let's see if it's able to pick up the right date and time. So as you can see, it picked up the right date and time. Field information is South 80. Truck ID is not available, but driver is Mike Johnson. So, and if I go to weight, even the weight information is pretty accurate. Same goes for moisture. So yeah, so ticket functionality is working fine. Sometimes you may experience that there are bugs or there are glitches, which is completely usual. What you can do is, if you see a bug, you can come over here and ask base 44 to fix it, and within seconds or minutes it will fix the bug for you as well.
I
So
noticed it even
let's
had a CSV download, so it even has the ability to pick a spreadsheet and populate the tickets. So, like if your auger wagon had a ability to download, we could just do that and put it right in there.
exactly. So right now you have a CSV download. You can scan ticket. You can have a manual ticket form as well. But let's say you have data available in a spreadsheet. There are hundreds and thousands of rows. So what you can do is you can build an import functionality. So you can say, hey, base 44, I want to have an import functionality where I can import my grain tickets, and it will build it for you within a few minutes. You will have an import button over here. You can just import your Excel or spreadsheet and have all your data within the application.
There's a question out there on the chat. Could this system integrate with farm management software or IoT sensors?
Oh yes, so it can be integrated uh, as long as those IoT sensors or farm management software are open for integration. You can work on integration as well.
So you'd have to put that though in the design and put that into the chat so it knows to go out and find those integration links and put those together then, correct?
Exactly. So you would say that I want my data to be integrated with let's say farm management software or farm equipments like John Deere and others, or weather station, or maybe accounting systems. So those integrations are possible with this platform. However, I would say that you would need some expert help to manage those integrations. So we
Yeah.
can
So,
we can easily help you with that.
Yeah, because you'd have to start thinking about other things like, what are you going to have as similar data? Are you going to have the locations be the same in both systems, and which is going to be the master and which one's going to be the slave, and things of that nature. And so there's a
Exactly.
whole lot more things that need to be thought about then.
Yes. So what happens if you delete a location here? Should it be deleted in farm management software? What happens if you make change in your other system? Should that change be reflected over here? So you'll have to work on all those tools when working on integrations.
Right. So there's still some knowledge about systems and how systems work that needs to be known to make those type of more sophisticated components put together. Then, correct?
Exactly. I would say this is a really good starting point. Uh, Within a few minutes, you have an application that's ready. You can make iterations, make changes, and within a day or two, you can give the application to your users. And once you're sure that application is working for you, you can start thinking about integration, security, scalability, and some other requirements.
Why don't you talk a little bit about consumer-based or internal usage versus an enterprise type system?
Yeah, so I would say with tools like Base 44, Replit, or Lovable, you can have a personal application that you can use for yourself or for a small team of 4 to 5 people. But as your business grow, or as your users get accustomed to these technologies, you can start thinking about creative ways to further enhance efficiencies in your operation, further transform your operation digitally. So that's when you can start thinking about integrations, data security, scalability. And so that's when you'll have to think about moving from a personal application or a consumer application to an enterprise grade application that is more secure, scalable, and very for large teams.
Yeah, and having different users and security and all those type of things. Those things can all be added to this, I'm sure, through the prompts and things, but you have to build those out, and it starts to get more involved, and more time needs to be invested into it to get more of a enterprise that is used by multiple people, multiple users. Maybe put it on the App Store for sale, and those types of things. You have to start take that to another level. I may have to have a database underneath it where it's being hosted and all those types of things.
Exactly. So I've worked with organizations, that spent thousands of dollars on creating an application that nobody used because somebody in the boardroom decided that there should be an application that people should use, right? So with a tool like this, what you can do is you can create an application within a few minutes or days. You can give it to the users, take their feedback, and then make changes. So I think it can be a really good MVP which you can use for, let's say, 4 to 6 months or a year. But as you grow, as your business grows, you will have to eventually move to an enterprise grade application.
You use
But
the
but
term
this is yeah.
MVP. What's MVP?
MVP is what I call, what the industry calls minimal viable product. So before you spend a lot of time and money into a fully functional enterprise grade application, you you start with a small application with a small group of users. You work on your initial idea, take your idea to the market, test it, make changes, and then work on a big application that's for the larger audience.
Yeah, so
So
doing
that's
that
what an MVP is.
market, an MVP is kind of a minimum viable product. Then you can test the market with it and those type of things to see if it's really worth going ahead and bringing this to market.
Yeah, so I would call this one an MVP. So this one is a very basic application with dashboard, location, tickets, transfers, adjustments, and then you have customers and stuff, right? But if you want to integrate it with, let's say, an accounting system or a financial system, then you'll have to start thinking about security and scalability. If you want to integrate this with John Deere or other farm equipments, you have to start thinking about all the rules that must be in place to support that integration. Same goes for any other integration that you need.
Okay, very good.
So yeah, so let me just go through some of the features.
Mhm.
So we have transfers. If I click on transfers, you have bin-to-bin transfer, you have bin-to-customer transfer. You can select your grain type. All these features are there. If I go to adjustments, you can create new adjustments. So location, bin, grain type, and you can give reasons: negative shrink, positive shrink. So I give only two reasons, right? When I give my requirement, I mentioned negative shrink, positive shrink. It included some other reasons as well: spoilage, clean out, measurement correction, other. So that's adjustments. If I go to customers, you can add new customers. One is already added. So this one is ACME, main elevator is ACME river terminal. So you can add location and you can have, multiple locations within a customer. If I go to reports, your inventory report is available, your transactions are available. If I go to settings, here you can, uh, add different grade types and stuff. So these settings are also available. So yeah, so within a few minutes, we created an application which is, ready for users to use.
It's pretty awesome. That's pretty quick. That's pretty amazing that you could do something that quick, that's already ready to go, and really, can be a viable product that you can start using.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm going to share my screen here and kind of wrap us up here as we're moving towards the top of the hour. And so we've built products. So what is it that we've really built here so far? We've built a system that has with AI that can scan tickets, whether take a picture or upload a scan that we've had, and convert that into a record. We can do real-time inventory management. We can see what we have on hand at any point in time. We can make adjustments, movements in that. We can bring that inventory in. We can move it around. We can take it out. We can have multiple locations. We can bring it in from multiple fields. We have full traceability, all in a very short window period of time. So what's missing and what's next, Danish?
Yeah, so what's next? I would say what we just showed today is just the tip of the iceberg. There are many other tricks and tips and learnings that we can share with the audience, and we'll talk about that in the next slides. But we built essentially an application that's available for personal use. So if you want an application for your individual use or for a small team, within your department or within your business, you can use tools like Base44 or Lovable or Applet. So as you saw that this application was ready to use, you can publish it and start using it right away. But once your business grows, and once what you really want, you can start thinking about integrations with other platforms. You can start thinking about securing your data, because you'll have financial transactions eventually. You'll have customer data, so you would want to make sure that data is secured. You'll have to think about compliances, and you'll have to think about scalability. Right now, your application is going to be used by 4 to 5 users, but eventually you may have 20, 50, 100 users. So you'll have to think about how to have an infrastructure that supports thousands of transactions by hundreds of users. So you'll have to think about having an enterprise grade application that can support so many transactions and users. So that's where people businesses like Folio 3 and Uncommon Farms can help these businesses.
Okay, there's a question out there: is where's that database sitting when you publish it? When you hit published, where would that go and sit? And then can I build reports upon that database?
Yes, so the data is available in the cloud. So that's the best part about it. You can use the application in your office, out in the field, on the go, anywhere, and you can run the reports. So if you want any report for your, let's say, inventory, your transfers, your user activity, you can just describe the report to Base44, and Base44 will create the report for you. As long as you have the data in the system, reporting is not an issue at all.
Yeah, another question is if we have multiple users, how does it keep the data integrity with multiple users using the system at the same time?
Yes, so there are two things that you can do. You can describe, if you have multiple departments within the business, you can describe role-based and department-based access. So users will only be able to access the data that they are allowed to see. So you can define all those rules. And as far as data integrity is concerned, there are validations and rules that you can set to ensure that the data that's in the app is accurate, and it's only accessible to people who have the access to use it.
Good, very good. So as we think about moving this forward, then, tell us a little bit about Folio 3 and the experiences that you guys have in the background of the company.
Sure. So we have been in the business for almost 20 years now, and we have been in agriculture for 15 years. Overall, we have 750 plus employees across the world in US, Canada, Mexico, and other countries. As far as ERP is concerned, we have 16 plus years of experience. We are Microsoft solution partner for Dynamics ERP. We are NetSuite's alliance partner for NetSuite ERP. So we do a lot of ERP implementations, for our customers. And then we say that, we are a one-stop shop. So we have a very solid AI team within the organization. Within ERP, we have 300 plus members. We have a really good e-commerce team, and we have 200 people working on, web and mobile applications.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, it's been 20 years.
Yeah, here at Uncommon Farms, we also work with farms and ranches all across North America. We are only in agriculture, and we are a community of farms that has that ability to have peer groups, and also we have relationships with people like Folio 3. So we have our strategic partners, and then we have some core key services as well that we deliver to farms. So we bring this together to help farms make more money and better have more efficiency on their operation. So as we go forward, what are some of the ways that we can help work with people?
Yeah, so we have three different packages. So we, like I said, we'll be happy to help all these organizations that are looking to create all these web coded applications. So we can be your prototype partner, where we can work with you on a 1 day sprint, where we'll understand your idea, your problem statement, and we'll help you build a fully functioning application within a few minutes or a day. So we'll work with you to refine your idea, and we'll share all the tips and tricks. And the outcome will be a workbook that you can use later, a demo application that is available to be published or deployed, and follow-up resources that we'll provide. So we can work as your prototype partner to help you build your application. The other package is what we called the Vibe Coding Masterclass. So our resources, we can have training sessions on Zoom, or we can come on site with the objective of training your users. So if you have some power users within your organization that are tech savvy, we can have 2 or 3 sessions with them to train them how they can use tools like Base 44 or Lovable or Replit or others to create applications themselves. So they can create 3 4 5 applications themselves and integrate them together. So we'll talk about how all that is possible. And the third one is kind of the combination of the two packages before. So we call this the Enterprise Innovation Sprint. This is where we first train the employees on how to use these tools, and then we work with them to create an application for themselves, for their business. So the outcome for this is multiple team projects, multiple applications, where we would train all these people on building applications with them, and then later on also provide help and resources and support to scale their application from an MVP to an enterprise grade application.
Very good. So we've got another question out there. I'm not sure I can know how to exactly get it to you there, Danish, but it says, how can we manage code base in GIT according to with versions, and how base 44, which stacks language, need to build these apps? So in other words, how can we tie those code bases and languages together to build these apps?
Yeah, so all these tools they're kind of very flexible when it comes to tech stack. However, there are limitations as well. So if you want to use a specific language when you're building an application, you have to specify that. So for example, it could be React or Angular for front end, and Node.js or .NET for backend. So you'll have to tell which code or which language you want to use. And once your application is ready, you can also export your code base. So you can download your front end code base. You can also deploy your backend code base to GitHub. So all these functionalities are available. Yes, there are some limitations when it comes to backend, but all these tools, they allow you to export your code base and work on that, work on them. As far as data is concerned, you can always export your data. So if you decide to, let's say, move away from base 44, you can export your data all the time.
Okay. So any other questions out there from the participants? Any comments from the participants? Unmute yourself and you can talk. It'd be fine.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Yeah, getting some up there. Tools seem to be very powerful. Yeah. Will this sell your father on the value of an ERP as a springboard? They build on top of it, and you bet. So, and I think that's a cool piece that was brought up there just a little bit there is, you know, you can build standalone apps, and I'm always a little cautious tell people to be cautious about building little shiny things that are nice at the moment when they're not part of the full platform and not fully integrated into a platform that you may have put together, like an ERP or a financial system or a production system. And where they stand alone, they're nice apps. They can do that function very well, but it's not part of a bigger platform. You know, sometimes they're going to be used. It's kind of like building a whole bunch of spreadsheets. AI could become the next set of spreadsheets. Instead of spreadsheets or little AI apps. And they're still disjointed and they're still not work together. So as you think about it, building a core platform to build upon, having good process and procedures definitely gives you a better result at the end. And so I kind of learned that as I worked with the team here in putting this together. So as we look at our next steps here, there's a QR code that's available here for you to scan. And if you're interested in working with the team here, with Danish and his team on the AI side, you can whether you'll be a prototype partner or you want to take a master class, whether you want to work on building out an enterprise type system, any of those types of things that you'd like to do, you can go online there with our website or scan the QR code, put in your information, and that will also contact us. You can also contact us directly, myself or Danish, there at at our email address. You can take a screenshot of that as well, and get to us either way. And we'd look forward to hearing from you and helping you out in your journey here as you start to learn about AI. You start to learn about how you can incorporate that and gain efficiencies in your business. Any other thoughts, Danish, you'd like to have here today?
No, I would say spot on. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions or if you want help, building, applications using AI.
Well, we thank you for your time here today, and I hope this was valuable and gained some new knowledge and how AI can be beneficial in your business. And we look forward to hearing back from everyone here as we go forward. Have a great day and a great weekend.